Today is an extremely difficult day for the Chicago police family.
Tonight, the city mourning the death of District 18 Police Commander Paul Bauer after a daytime shooting in the heart of Chicago's downtown.
The commander responding to a call at the Thompson Center of a suspect on the run.
I heard someone, yeah, something got. And all I know is shots let off, like 5 or 6 shots.
The response was swift, an outpouring of support from hundreds of officers across the city.
A procession of police standing together to honor the commander who gave his life, working to keep the people of Chicago safe.
And I just ask citizens of this city to keep the Bauer family in their prayers.
And a live look here from the 18th District Police Station. Mayor Rahm Emanuel and Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson at any moment set to speak to officers who have gathered from across Chicago.
New video just in to Fox 32 shows the two men arriving a short time ago. We'll bring you live to the station in just a moment. We have Fox 32 team coverage of Commander Bauer's death. Good evening, I'm Dawn Hasbrook.
And I'm Corey McFerrin. Let's get right to Dane Placco, who's live at the Thompson Center in the Loop. Dane?
And Corey, we are receiving some new information, some disturbing new information just moments ago. This information now confirmed by Chicago police. They're telling us the suspect is 44 years old. He has a long criminal felony history. In fact, went to prison for several years for armed robbery back in 1998. More felony charges and convictions on his record after he got out of prison. Now, this is the disturbing part. They tell us that he was wearing body armor when he shot the commander today, wearing body armor, and that also he was carrying a gun with an extended clip magazine. Now, the scene still active at this hour. Large number of police officers here at the Thompson Center. Crime tape still up blocking the streets. The investigation continues into the shooting that happened now about 7 hours ago.
People were scrambling everywhere.
Chaos breaking out in the heart of the Loop just before 2 in the afternoon. Tactical officers spotted a man wanted for questioning. One of the officers calling it in on the police radio.
And he took off on me, but he was in the area where we've had a lot of narcotic sales and a shooting.
That started a foot chase that only lasted a couple of blocks.
Going towards City Hall.
Commander Paul Bauer happened to be driving near the area when the call went out on the scanner. He apparently saw the suspect running and joined the pursuit, chasing the suspect down on this stairwell just outside the Thompson Center. The door at the bottom was locked.
He ran down into the stairwell, and that's when people just got coming out of nowhere. I don't know if they was off-duty police officers, and all I know is shots let off, like 5 or 6 shots.
Witnesses say they saw Commander Bauer laying at the bottom of the stairwell, paramedics trying to pump life back into his body. What happened next is unclear. Some witnesses saying the suspect then ran into the Thompson Center food court where more shots were heard. Police say the suspect was taken into custody and a gun recovered at the scene.
We had a meeting scheduled to discuss crime in Streeterville.
Second Ward Alderman Brian Hopkins says Commander Bauer was on his way to City Hall for a meeting with Hopkins and Alderman Brendan Riley. He says he's not surprised the high-ranking cop got involved in a routine street stop.
Knowing Commander Bauer, his instinct and his training took over, and he did exactly what any cop would do, which would be to respond and attempt to apprehend the suspect.
And again, we're learning just moments ago from Chicago police that suspect, 44 years old, was wearing body armor at the time he allegedly shot the commander today. He is a resident of the South Side. He has not yet been identified because he has not yet been charged. Live at the Thompson Center, Dane Placco, Fox 32 News. Back to you.
All right, Dane, thank you. The tragic death of Commander Bauer is a blow to the Chicago Police Department. The entire force came together today for officers in the 18th District who are distraught tonight. Elizabeth Matthews is live there tonight with more on that. Elizabeth.
And Don, you're right. It was a real show of support today. We're told that officers from other districts actually came here this afternoon to the 18th District to relieve the officers who were on duty. So the officers who work here, work under the commander, could actually take part in that procession, taking his body from Northwestern Hospital to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. So a real show of brotherhood, sisterhood today here at the 18th District and throughout the Chicago Police Department. Now, right now, Chicago Superintendent Eddie Johnson and Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel are inside the 18th District District. First watch roll call starts around 9 o'clock. The two arrived here together, arriving in the same SUV, arrived here about 15 minutes prior to the top of the hour. Did not speak to us. The mayor had his hand over Eddie Johnson's shoulder as they walked inside, and we believe they're speaking to those officers right now. This is not only the first watch that goes on at 9 o'clock, this is also, we're told, the third watch. Those officers are supposed to start their duty, are supposed to go onto the street this afternoon, but because of the procession, because they were part of that today, they are now speaking to both the third watch and the first watch. We do know that Chicago Police Superintendent did talk to did send an email, to his officers, telling them about today's tragedy. In that email to his officers, he called this an immeasurable loss and reminded the department of the bravery and sacrifice we all make as police officers. He urged the men and women of the force to spend time with friends and family, and also remember the Bauer family in their thoughts and prayers. Now, the mayor did send out a statement shortly after. He said in that statement, quote, "The hearts of every Chicagoan are heavy as we mourn the loss of Commander Paul Bauer. Commander Bauer stood for the highest ideals of our police department and our city to serve and protect the people of Chicago. His death is a tragic reminder of the dangerous duty the men and women of our police department accept to ensure the safety of us all." Now, at some point, they will be coming out these doors here at the 18th District, both the superintendent and the mayor. We're not actually sure if they will have anything to say to us. If they do, again, the mayor did release a statement. Chicago Police Superintendent did speak earlier this afternoon, but if they do have anything to say to the media and say to the community, we'll bring that to you later in the show. Guys, back to you.
Elizabeth, thank you. Commander Bauer had been rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital today, and fellow officers raced to be with him.
After he died, there was a somber procession. Dakari Turner joins us from Northwestern with that part of the story. Dakari.
Well, Don and Corey, you know, after we got word that Commander Bauer had been shot, we came here immediately, and the looks on everybody's faces was very grim. Even onlookers, not knowing Commander Bauer, his background, that he served 31 years, or that he had a daughter and a wife as well. Their faces were very grim. But still, this is where everything happened. That procession took place. So hours later, still his loss is felt. It's a procession that starts at the hospital by ambulance and ends here at the office of the medical examiner.
Today is an extremely difficult day for the Chicago police family.
And it's the job of the superintendent to tell us what happened. The emotional Eddie Johnson steps to the microphone telling us a city protector is dead.
Unfortunately, Commander Bauer passed away.
Here at the hospital, dozens of Chicago police officers race to Northwestern Memorial and await word. They're joined by members of the city's fire department as well. For hours, the mood is tense, written on their faces. No one quite knew until word became official. That's when things here take on a different tone. The fact, undeniable. 31-year police veteran Paul Bauer was continuing to uphold his oath to protect and to serve. So now, this brotherhood of officers begins to mourn. Hundreds of members of the Chicago police family lined the street outside the hospital's ER, his body carried to the office of the medical examiner. It makes its way through the city and eventually finding its stop, the very last honor for this officer, while sending him toward burial. And Commander Bauer's family, no doubt, tonight is still coming to terms with his loss. The fact that they will now have to begin the stages of planning this burial. But in the immediate part of all this aftermath, they will have to come to terms with the fact that this protector, this man that they trusted, will not be coming home. We're live at Northwestern this evening. I'm Dakari Turner, Fox 32 News.
All right, Dakari, thank you for that. Commander Bauer was well known within the department and well loved in his community. He met on a regular basis with residents of this district and worked to help the families of other fallen officers.
I know the media, and there's a perception out there that there's this wall, or there's a lot of mistrust with the police department. On my perspective, I've never been thanked more for my service in the last 2 to 3 years total combined compared to the previous 28 years.
Commander Bauer was a 31-year veteran of the police force and leader of the busy and high-profile 18th District on the near north side. Before that, Bauer was the commander of the department's Mounted Patrol Unit. He was also actively engaged in the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation, which assists the families of fallen and injured officers. Commander Bauer held monthly coffee gatherings in his district in an effort to better connect with the community.
I encourage you to approach an officer because we're happy to meet you.
Bauer leaves behind a wife and daughter, Grace, seen here back in 2010. His brother-in-law, Jim Malloy, posted this on his Facebook page tonight. A great brother-in-law, a great husband, a great father, a great friend, a great cop. Rest in peace, Paul. And one Facebook friend of the Bauers wrote tonight, if you pray, please say one for Paul and his beautiful family and this broken city.
And Bauer's community outreach is what many people are remembering tonight. Larry Yellen has been in the neighborhood all afternoon and joins us now live. Larry.
Corey and Dawn, the 18th District includes neighborhoods from here in River North all the way up to DePaul University, then back to the lakefront, down to the Magnificent Mile, and apparently Paul Bauer knew all of them very well. Officers arriving at the 18th District headquarters late this afternoon appeared stoic, but one officer who was inside the district run by Commander Paul Bauer said there were plenty of tears. The 18th District runs from Fullerton on the north, south to the Chicago River, and from the lakefront west to the river. Some longtime business owners here, like Frank Rita of Topo Gigio Restaurant on North Wells, had known Bauer for decades, long before he became a commander.
Well, we've been here 30 years. He's been out here every bit of that, if I remember right. I mean, he's been here quite a long time. Great man. I mean, quiet man, but excellent man. He's going to be sorely missed.
At a neighborhood meeting last fall, Commander Bauer pointed out that about 75% of the crime in his district was theft-related, much of it street crime. But Rita says Bauer was also well acquainted with the problems faced by commercial enterprises and made a point to be involved.
You know, he's going to be sorely missed. Commander was very involved with the 18th District here, especially Wells Street. Great guy, business-friendly man, understood this area very well.
I spoke with one resident this afternoon who preferred not to go on camera. I asked him just on the street, did you happen to know Commander Bauer? He said, of course I did. He was everywhere. Corey and Dawn, back to you.
All right, Larry, thank you. We continue to cover the shooting death of Commander Bauer. Later this hour, we'll have more from the 18th District and fellow officers mourning his loss.
A sexual harassment claim in the political operation over